Oakland County.
Okay. Nice.
If you see something on your screen, I just am in the process of going live on Facebook. It may come up on your screen and say, okay, it's all right, or whatever.
Yeah.
You see it?
Basically, now the recording or whatever they throw at us, eh?
Yeah.
So you can stay and say, yeah, I'm here, or whatever. Yeah, and what we do is we go on Facebook Live, and that's it'll be kept in our archives with on Abraham Fun Facebook group forever.
Hopefully I don't lose you guys. I never seem to have a problem with Zooms, but whenever I do things on Facebook, it's like if I go to make a comment, I knock myself right off. Sometimes I make the comment, and sometimes it's like, no, but usually I get knocked off, and then I have to log in, and I'm thinking about your end. I'm like, man, I'm a pain in your butt.
Just a quick thing. When you were generally going across Facebook and you decide you're going to type a comment and you make a typo, so you use the blooming correction thing, and as soon as you've used the correction thing and you type another word, it suddenly deletes your comment.
I did that to me yesterday. I'm like, what are you doing? I only wanted that one letter, not those words.
Yes, I've had that happen too.
Yep, I'm saying, and it's happened so much to me, but I'll lose a comment, and I will admit, my English is pretty good, but remember, I'm British English, no disrespect. So I will type colour, COLOUR, and then it'll come up with the correction. And before I think about it, I click on it to correct it. I correct that, and I'll type a few more words, and suddenly the comment is like, there has been an error. And I'm like, ugh. So, well, the thing is, and this is me, I'll just think of alternative words. I'll just think, right, retype the comment, alternative word, I know how it's spelled, or I'll ignore the blooming wavy red line and just continue typing and hit, the send. And if somebody comes back to me playing, grammar police, I'm like, do you know what I meant? Yeah. What does it matter?
Yeah.
It's all fun and games, and I remind myself of that when I've typed a whole bunch and I lose it, and I'm like, oh, whatever. I mean, this is all supposed to just be fun, and that's of course what Abraham says about all of life. It's all for the fun of it, really, and that's what we love so much, to know that we're here not to like improve ourselves or like make these heavy duty changes in ourselves. We're here for the joy of the experience of being human. And that is at the very essence of Abraham, which is just something that gives us permission to just not take stuff so darn seriously.
Yeah.
Just saying something on this before we go any further in discussion. How certain people get drawn to law of attraction and Abraham Hicks and everything. And there is what I call the 4 hooks: abundance, / financial abundance, success, health, and love. And when people initially discover law of attraction, they can attract all this stuff and everything, but they don't seem to attract it. It's like, okay, I've given that a go. I'm going off on another tangent. But to me, you know, it's a case is, and I will say this from the Abraham Hicks perspective, you know, I may not be a millionaire yet. It's in the vortex. But to me, just a case of feeling good in that line of unconditional love and appreciation. It feels good to me. And so many people are wanting, you know, the success, the love, the financial abundance, the health, not realizing because they're pushing on it so much, they're pushing it away. You've just got to get in alignment and let it come.
Yeah, the way it came to me about an hour ago was like, grateful for the moment seems to lead me where I did not know I needed to go.
That's very good. Yeah, yeah. That's beautiful. Well, it sounds like you've got a real sense of yourself as a philosopher and of certain principles that you do live by, or you're finding new principles or whatever, Craig. But that sounds it sounds like you have that sense of being led by maybe source energy, your inner being, as we call it. Do you have that awareness, would you say?
Well, I grew up basically, you just did what was right. You didn't really do a whole lot of thinking. You just knew it was right, so you did it.
Yeah.
You know?
Good principle to start on. Good principle to start on, that is. Do what you know is right and everything. Yes.
I got an ear thingy do somewhere around here. I'm having a hard time hearing on. I always do with this Chromebook. I was just really happy yesterday when I realized when I fold it and flip it up sideways, I don't have to type no more. It'll do voice to text just like my phone. I'm like, oh, I love this computer more all the time.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Yeah.
I'm really slow. Ching, 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 ching. I talk pretty quick. Google does pretty good, but I know enough to look at it before I hit that send button. If it's close, it's close. Good enough. But boy, it can really be blowing you off the page some days. Just do that.
I know. It is good to kind of go over it before you hit send.
Well, how you guys were talking about how Google's doing. It's like, well, gee, Google used to be intuitive and try to suggest what we should say. Now it's deciding what we shouldn't say. Maybe we needed help in that department.
Maybe so.
What I love with, you know, be it a Chromebook or a mobile phone or anything like that, friends will be like trying to say something into it, you know, for a search, and it'll come up with all the wrong words and everything, and they'll say, Jonathan, what now? Can you say this? And they'll just see what Google comes up with, and they'll just, you know, give a, you know, tell me what they want me to say, and I'll just say it to Google, and I've got such, and it's not boastful, it's from what Google is, I've got such a way of pronunciation that Google seems to pick up on what I say, and my friends are like, why does it recognize your voice and not mine? And says, Google is my friend.
I did notice
that little line was stolen from a techie friend of mine who, you know, he just said, you know, if someone says something you don't understand, and just say to him, Google is your friend.
That's good. Yeah.
I did notice like other speakers, well, like Sadhguru and Christine Lopes, and there's other individuals.
Yeah.
You know, if I tried to talk, Google says, we're listening to them. You ain't hearing you. You know? And it'll be typing away what they're saying. I'm like, stop. Ooh, that was a good one I almost missed.
is, Google even seems to understand me when I put on jokey accents.
Well, it's all intuitive. I remember way back when, before the Google Voice, and I had Dragon speaking, and so you had to train it. It had to listen to you. So, of course, my secretary had to train, and I had to train, and then my foreman had to train, and but it had to recognize each one of us. I never did like typing. I did really good at it in school, and somehow or another it just eluded me, or my fingers forgot, or something. It was like in school I was like 78 words a minute at almost 100% accuracy, but now I'm like chook, chook. Nearly 78 letters a minute.
I will admit, let's go. Those two fingers, my main typing fingers, because I haven't had any blooming QWERTY training or anything. But there'll be certain times I'm like dit, 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 and then sometimes I just hit a point of pure appreciation and unconditional love, and I'm like.
Just takes right off.
Yeah. Oh,
Things do go much easier when we don't do so much damn thinking.
I will admit this though. Not recently, but I went through a PDF version of Ask and It Is Given, and there are a few, what you would say, minor grammatical errors. Well, I'm saying, hey, I understand what Abraham's saying. What does it matter? Oh, correct me if I'm wrong, Karen.
What's that, Jonathan?
Correct me if I'm wrong, because I told you I didn't hear fully up here. Recent Abraham now. A new book on the way?
That's right. They did say that. So, Craig, Abraham has a number of books that they've released years ago, but nothing recently. So we were pretty excited to hear them just say this past Saturday, and Jonathan and I heard the recording and marked it as well, that they are working on another book, which will be nice to have. They have all their books. I absolutely love all of their books, but they haven't done another, a recent one. So, yeah, absolutely, they're going to be coming out according to Abraham. Abraham, of course, speaks through Esther. Esther Hicks is you know who she is, or know of her. She lives in both California and Texas and Utah. She kind of spends her time at 3 different places, but mainly California and Texas. But anyway, it's she who gives forth the Abraham perspective as a channel. And so then they have given her these books as channeled through her, where she would just type them up. Speaking of typing, and then there's somebody edits them. It's Louise Hayes Publication Company who does.
Louise Hayes.
Yes. She passed away a few years back, but she had such a wide-reaching influence. And then after her books were published, she took to making other people's books available, including Abraham's. And I think that was so it's Louise Hayes Publishing House who publishes the Abraham books, and I assume that will be true of this newest one as well, although of course we don't know yet. But and as far as editing, Jonathan, I would think that they would have very impeccable editing. I'm wondering if maybe you got a file that maybe maybe it wasn't like a final or something, because Hay House is really on top of things.
Well, what I'm saying is, remember, I'm reading a PDF
World is
that
that?
is American, and
Yes.
as it comes up, my computers are set to UK English, and there is slight difference in spellings and everything. But
Right. That's
like
right.
I said, it's you know, I'll read a word, and you know, I'll understand the word, and somebody will say that should have a capital I there, and I'm like, I understand it. What, you know, would you say to somebody if they said, I am wonderful? Oh, is that a capital I at the beginning of I am? You know, you wouldn't ask, would you? But as soon as you see someone type it, people want to play grammar police.
Yeah. I just saw yesterday that basically a statement that as we write, a lot of times it's best to not use any commas or all that sort of stuff
Yeah.
because we all read things differently. We hear things differently. So just because I thought you should break at that point doesn't necessarily mean that you needed to break at that point. Maybe I thought I needed to emphasize something, but it really wasn't important to you.
Yeah. Yeah. And especially if you're just trying to get things down on paper or on the computer from, that are coming to you a lot of times, kind of a stream of consciousness or whatever, you don't really need to fiddle with punctuation and all. You just want to get those ideas out. And then if it's something that you'd want to publish eventually, then that's when you get an editor. But yeah, just to get your ideas out, you don't have to fiddle with those details.
Yeah, I love my electronic. I have a journey journal, so I can talk to it too. And it's like 2 clicks, and I can start talking. Because that was my problem before trying to record. It's like by the time I got to where I could talk, I forgot what the hell I was saying. But now it's like click, click, and just start jabbering away, and then it's there in my journal. And it's nice because you can search by the temperature, the day, where you were, keywords. It's like, and I've got probably 100,000 pages up there in bank boxes that will never probably be gone through. I mean, I realize that, no, Craig, you're always gazing forward. You very seldom look backwards. What the hell are you worried about collecting a pile for? Did somebody else have to clean it up later or what?
Well,
You're now always looking forward. Never looks back.
Yeah, that's another hallmark of the. Yes, Abraham says, look forward. What do you want? How do you want your life to be? A lot of people who spend a lot of time looking back, they may get mired in regrets or, I didn't do that right or whatever. But having said that, I personally have kept a diary for many years when I was a young person. And I now am having a blast going back through from my starting in about 7th grade for, I guess it was about 10 years. And I go back through that and, oh my gosh, and I share with my friend Barbara, who was in my class at school, and we're still really good friends. And I share stuff from my diaries from way back then. So it can be, it can be kind of fun. Once in a while. But yeah, sometimes it's just the process of saying, well, this is how the day went. You kind of get a little kind of a new perspective on things. Just going through the motions of recording your day can be something kind of meaningful, whether you ever go back and read it or not. But it can have some.
Like you say, the gratitude journal, it's like, well, you're supposed to wake up and, I mean, I don't have a good habit or a routine because I realize it's like, well, routine's just never for me. Because if I get comfortable in a routine, then I'm not attentive to where I actually am. I think I know where I'm going.
Gotcha. Yeah. But
At the
gratitude
same
is
time, you
great.
got to have the intentions and develop the habits. It's like, well, wait a minute. I might not go outside and sit every morning, but I know it's only been, only probably a year since this light worker thing and all the other jazz. And there was all this energy coming in, but I wasn't grounded. So it was horrible. It was like I was going to explode. It just kept coming in, but I never let anything out.
So
And now I realized it's like now I do barefoot walks, and I'm a tenderfoot, but I'm getting used to it. It's like right now, well, I just went through a Reiki attunement too. Today's the 21st day. They said it was supposed to calm down after 21 days.
wow.
So recently I've had to spend at least 2, generally 4 hours between barefooted or on my knees in the garden or in the river. And then I'm okay. Then enough goes through me, I'm okay.
Well, when you say the energy comes in, how do you experience that?
How do you even explain that? It's just, it's just wonderful from everywhere. It's got to go somewhere. It's like I say, it's kind of that comfortable, uncomfortable thing. It's like, well, it really feels good to be receiving all this because my whole life I was only taught to give. So it's a new experience for me to hit the point of, oh, I am at a point of acceptance. I'm willing to receive now. Previously, I didn't think I deserved. I don't know why now I did what I did. But I just, I couldn't even take a compliment from you. I had to find something wrong with it. And I consciously knew, I'm like, well, wait a minute, that wasn't very grateful or thankful but it would just spin out. It's like, oh, but I got that at the resale shop, Yeah, it's a $2,000 suit, and yeah, I got it for $20, and then I went to the tailor, so it looks like a $2,000 suit. But of course I don't have to tell them, oh yeah, but I got that Salvation Army.
Well, that sounds like a pretty neat journey.
Sounds like somebody has got to the point of realizing how worthy they really are.
Yeah, I'm finally starting to see it. I figured there must have been some reason that they gave me a second chance because I died in 2013. Well, I just wasn't alive for 3 minutes as far as I'm concerned, because if I had died, I wouldn't be here. But then I didn't even get the message then. It was 2 years later on medication that I had to fall and hit my head and ended up living alone, paralyzed. Well, not paralyzed. I just couldn't feel the right side of my body. And then when this whole thing started, my body that I couldn't feel was where I felt the other things. It took a while before the left side caught up with the dead side.
Wow.
But so finally, it only took 6 years and I got the message. I had to let go of the old in order to receive the new. But I was really hanging on to being a millionaire. Even a title like that can define us. Just because I had titles, president, CEO, landlord, blah, 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 I thought I knew who the hell I was. I wasn't none of those things. Now I finally, I don't know, I'm still, it's like I got to have some kind of title because I do things. But I don't want a title, and then I like abbreviations. So currently, I've regressed to I am now C of now. I'm no longer Craig. I'm definitely not Craig Wilson. And I ain't Craig Andrew Wilson. And I ain't Craig now anymore. I'm just to see him now. You can find me just down the river of love.
Wow. Wow. That is darn interesting. You have been on quite a journey. Quite a journey, I'd say.
I could say I've lived my whole life almost happy. Everybody just thought I was happy. I'm like, well, you didn't see the dark side. It's like people, it's last year. I wish I could be like you, blah, blah, blah. I says, you probably wouldn't have survived those other 58 years.
Wow. Well, do you have some groups that you attend? I like there. I mean, have you? It sounds like you've been really doing some, inner. I don't want to say work, but inner play or inner. Do you have groups that you go to? I mean, in person, or is it, or maybe not? Maybe it's just mainly online, like you say. And of course, during COVID, we've all not been, around a lot of people, but it sounds like you have really been on an adventure of really discovering more of who you are and what life's about.
Well, and that's a big part, because I never realized just me being happy probably end up making you happy. Because everywhere I go, it doesn't really matter what's on your face. If our eyes connect, you're going to get a smile, and odds are I'm going to get one back.
Yeah.
Hey, I've got to interrupt. I feel your energy. It is infectious.
That's what I realized. And it's like, damn, doing nothing, I was still doing something. Just being me, people seem to like, It's like, well, gee, that's kind of nice. I can just be me. Of course, you have to be select. You can't let everybody know a bunch of crap that they're going to freak out about.
Right.
Sometimes it's okay to tell them that crap they're going to freak out about, and if they can't take it, just let them go on their way.
Well, that's where I'm at now, is I'm realizing a lot of people had to be let go, because they wholeheartedly, just me being me, hurt them somehow. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, if I'm causing you harm, I'm getting the hell out of here. And I just, you don't come right out and say, don't come back. But somehow that energy keeps them from coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Abraham 101.
Yeah. You got to match up vibrationally with folks that are in your experience. And if we talk about the vibrational emotional scale. If you're up in joy and somebody comes along and they're bummed out, then they're not going to, you guys just aren't going to jive. I mean, you may encounter each other, but you're not going to stay, because law of attraction matches up things that are like, whether and that's why gloomy people tend to hang out with gloomy people, and joyful people tend to hang out with more joyful people. Not that we're all one thing all the time, but just our general trend needs to match for people to be, for us to be with somebody.
Well, and I started to realize from a prior state of depression that, like I'd be going in the bathroom and I'd look in the mirror and I'm all smiling at myself, and literally I'd say, what the hell are you smiling about? I'm busy being miserable here. Who the hell do you think you are?
I am the real me. I am the real me. You want to be a miserable sod? I am the real me. That's who I am. My blooming point of it is joy, love, and appreciation. I do not care what you say, Mr. Looking back into me in the mirror. I'm going to tell you who I really am. I am joy, love, and appreciation. So if you do not like this, you can off.
Yeah.
Sorry for the outburst, but I thought that was due at this time.
Well, Louise Hay, she somehow I haven't seen much of her or whatever, but the one thing that really hit me was the mirror work, And so I went ahead and I got I was accustomed to in the bathroom, the face, but then it's like, well, gee, okay, we need a full length mirror. We need to be there without clothes. And we need to start to admire this ride. This is the only ride I get for this time around.
Hey,
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm all for that. Getting a full-length mirror, even standing before it naked, and saying, this is my body. This is an amazing body. It is capable of so much. What I may be seeing with these eyes at this moment in time is not a true reflection. This body is amazing. It has served me so well. It has brought me so far along in this life, and it is continually serving me. It is active. I can do so many other things that other people in my situation may not be able to do. This is my body, my wonderful body. I am glad that I have been born into this body. It is my body, nobody else's body. And I love this body. This body is mine. Oh my, I'm going on rampages tonight. Stop me.
I know. That's good. Yeah, we love this because Abraham talks about rampage of appreciation, and you can do it on any subject, your body or your house or your spouse or your yard or the world or anything. And so just to get off, just to take off and just appreciate. And when you do that with your body, it's really powerful.
That just for some reason that mirror work was so relevant. I mean, before I was even a teenager, there was this little thing that echoed in my head: the man in the mirror. What will you see at the end of days? That man in the mirror. And so that was always wow, what will I see in that mirror? Because I've done some questionable things in my time. Now I realize it's like, oh, you just had to get through the trauma. So you were doing the best you could do. And obviously you didn't make any mistakes, or otherwise you wouldn't be here today.
Yeah, you got to give yourself a break. And most people are just far too hard on themselves in general. And just, but Abraham teaches to let go of that. Yeah, just like what you said, Craig. Forget the mistakes. You're here, you're vibrant, you're alive, you've got a lot of life ahead of you. Oh boy. And isn't it just great, where you just appreciate being in physical embodiment so much, because there's so many things to explore, and the heck with whatever we did wrong or mistakes we made, or just maybe we hurt somebody, but we didn't know any better. So what? Done, gone.
Yeah, but if my mind is there, it's hard for my being to be here. I don't know. Like you say, it's like, that living in the past, you were already there once. What the hell are you going for? I didn't get all the lessons. That's why I keep going back.
Mind you, if memory of the past comes through and it feels good, milk it. You'll be surprised how much it can raise your vibration if you milk a memory from the past that just feels oh so good. It doesn't matter what the memory would be. A holiday, interaction with people, but if the memory feels good, milk it, and you're like, oh, bliss. You could have a point on a holiday, be it, something as simple as swimming with dolphins. And it just feels so good that you can milk that memory, and it's like, oh, that feels so good. At the same time, you're saying to the universe, more of this, please. And before you know, you're on another holiday swimming with dolphins.
That's right. And that's a very good use of thinking back in time. Very, very, very good use, because that's raising your vibration when you think of good memories. But we just definitely want to confine them to the good times. I've been going through pictures, old pictures, really old pictures, for a book that I'm working on. I'll soon start a second book, and this is about my life. And it's through a platform called Storyworth that my daughter-in-law got for me. And so I'm asked 52 questions, one a week for a year. And I write a little essay, as long or as short as I want, and include some pictures, as many or as few as I want with it. And I did that for a whole year. And now I realized that I can add more pictures than I had already added before I start volume 2 in September. So anyway, I've been going through these old pictures, and so many of them do feel so good, just such nice memories. And I'm trying to see what ones I want to scan and put in the book. But I had a memory today of when I was looking through some albums that my mom would say to me, oh, looking at old pictures is so sad. She says, don't you just think it's sad?
Right.
And I guess she meant, you look back on those experiences and you feel sad that you're not still having them or something like that. She said that when she was really elderly. But I thought, no, I don't ever want to look back on pictures and feel sad that I'm not still having those experiences, because I intend to always be having new, good experiences. I'm not going to have that stop and end and then just sit and think, oh, well, that was great back then, but now it's not so good. I'm going to always have fun things going on, even if I have to tease somebody or carry on in a funny way like I did with the dentist this week. I'm going to find ways to enjoy life and not just think, oh, that was then and this is now. I'm not going to do that. So anyway, looking at all those pictures has really reminded me that I could look at those and feel sad like my mom did, or I could look at those and feel so thankful like I do, and eager for more. Thankful for the past, thankful for now, eager for more. That's the platform that we want to be on.
Heck yeah, looking at that album saying, wow, I wonder what next year's is going to be showing me.
Yeah.
I'll say this. I know I'm Mr. Interrupt when it comes to these chats and everything. I was recently listening to another Abraham Now, and I didn't realise that Sarah books, anybody watching on Facebook Live, they're well worth checking out, and although they are more directed to younger people, law of attraction and Abraham principles in them are brilliant.
It is in there.
Call a long story short, I didn't realize until a recent Abraham Now that a few of the stories within the Sarah books were linked to Esther's own experience. Anybody who has read the Sarah books, Selena, if you're watching or listening, and I know you have, where the case of in the book Sarah falls into the water, you will not drown. I didn't actually realize until listening to some of Abraham Now that was actually linked to Esther's own true life experience. Did you catch that, Karen?
I did hear a bit on that. Yes, I did. So that was interesting, very interesting to know about that. Yeah, all of their books are just so amazing, and but the one I hear talked about probably the least, and the one that I found the most amazing, really for me personally, was The Astonishing Power of Emotions. That book just took me to a whole new level with Abraham, and because there were. And if you've read that one, right, Jonathan? The Astonishing Power of Emotions.
That is the one that they actually was introduced like workshop segments into it, isn't it? Correct me if I'm wrong. You don't have to correct me. I know I'm right.
Yeah, it's funny. I had only got introduced to Esther through Kevin's group. And initially, I was having a horrible time. There was something in their tone of her voice that aggravated me. But I'm like, well, I like the words, but I'm not liking the tone. So then it became well, what is the problem here? Turns out I was missing my Aunt Esther that I hadn't seen, that had passed away 4 decades ago. So I was actually getting irritated by the name. So I really wasn't hearing. There was a preconception underneath the name.
Gotcha.
Sister, so when I would listen to her, it kind of hurt. Yeah. Because I grew up different, so I learned to just shut the feelings off. But about the time I was 8 or 9 years old, I realized that, we can't be doing these feelings things. This ain't going to pan out. So it's only been 2 years, and now you say, well, milk the memories or and all that. It's like, well, yeah, I guess I do, because now I feel, and so there is no good, bad, or indifferent. I just feel. I don't really need to know anymore either. As I start to feel, it's like, what were you doing all that thinking about? Why did you just feel how the hell it is and go there? But that's a new journey to go from to okay, let me have it. And that's scary when it's like, because a lot of crap comes along with the good or the perception of the, like I say, it's like, whoa, and then all the damn vibrations come with it. And I used to have seizures, and I realized that it's very similar to the seizures. But now I'm not afraid. Before I would have to hang on, and and then when you'd come to, you're all lost and you didn't know where you're laying. And then as time, it's like, oh, okay, here it comes. At first I'm like, okay, just sit. So I would like started off, I'm on the edge of the bed. I'm good. I can just sit here. Well, then come to, and I tipped forward and my head's against the boudoir or the credenza, like, oh, okay, well, maybe if it feels like it's going to be that heavy, you might better lay down, and then I ended up rolling off the bed. I'm like, okay, Craig, just lay down on the damn floor. You'll be where you're going to end up anyway. But it's weird because, even through those seizures, it was like, well, you left your body behind. You went to a different place. So now it's the same, but without the fear.
Oh, yeah.
Before there was the fear that I wouldn't come back, but after I died, it's like, wow, that ain't no big deal. What the hell was I afraid of?
Well, that's what so many people do say, that after they have a near-death experience, or however you want to term it, but that it just really does away with the concern they have about there being an afterlife. Now, is that what happened for you, that you just you felt that there was something more, or did that come later?
Well, I grew up Baptist, so I had to kind of get past that perception.
I was Baptist.
And so it's like, well, and then growing up, I was totally confused because there was Jesus, that I thought was God. So Jesus and God and Jesus Christ and God. And I'm like, no, yeah, he was an enlightened guy. I would have hung out with him. I don't usually hang out with many, but I wasn't going all the way to there. But now I'm like, oh, okay. There's source. There's the energy of all. And then there's people that tapped into it that we needed to hear their message. That was the big question. Because Abraham, like last night, something, I don't remember what the hell I was listening to or whatever, but it was like, okay, the enlightened beings of the time, there was Muhammad, Moses, Abraham, and Jesus. That it was like, that was that time frame. So is this that Abraham?
No.
No, it is not. Good question, though. Different. No, it is not. And a lot of people would assume that because, that was the great patriarch of the Jewish and Christian Bible, but Bibles. But no, this is a name that Esther Hicks, who she went to a, let's see, well, you can probably say it better, Jonathan. She went
to see I'm getting in line to get the story properly. Esther and Jerry went to see this allower. I will not use the word channeler. And at one point, Jerry, the master of questions, was asking this allower, who allowed an entity called Theo through. And Esther, at the time, was very reluctant on this type of stuff. But after a while, Esther did open up to ask a few questions. And at one point of the questioning, someone asked her, would you like to know the name of your inner being stroke spiritual guide? And Esther, of course, said, yes, please. She was told it will be revealed to you at a later date. And bottom line is, I could go into all the spelling with the nose and everything, but the bottom line is, when Esther allowed her inner being, the name was Abraham, and the name Abraham was given to her as teacher. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is it. And I do remember the story of Esther and Jerry driving down a freeway, and the first real Jerry dearly departed, not so dearly departed, master of questions. They were on a freeway, and at one point Esther just says, not so many words, get off the freeway here. And it was the first time that Abraham truly came through to Esther.
Ooh.
And Jerry, and Abraham will say it, Esther will say it, was a master of questions for all certain things. But the underpass they come to off the freeway, Abraham and Jerry met for a very long time. Jerry with his questions, Abraham with their answers. Now, people say, why was Esther given the name Abraham? And she has said, because it relates, it is teacher. That is the closest they could get in interpretation.
Oh.
Yeah.
And also, and that was excellent what you said, Jonathan. And then also, I remember, didn't she say the essence of what Abraham is the same purity of that was at the base of the three of the major religions of the world, which was Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. And they all consider Abraham a prophet. So just to tie that together, they're saying that at the basis, the pure basis of all religions, that's the same that we are. And so Abraham was just like an easy term to use. And they've had plenty of comments about religion over the years and how it does get distorted.
Well, in marketing, we're supposed to work with familiarity. So, why not build on something that's already there?
Right.
Not build on something that is already there, but where people have been misguided, guide them back to what is the truth.
If they're asking to be guided, of course, and many folks are not, and some folks are, and that's where Abraham has really just blown things, I think, wide open. I've studied them for 21 years now, and I was searching for years before that, and before that I was a very committed evangelical Baptist Christian. And before that, I was nothing at all. And so
we're supposed to be, isn't it? You started in the right place.
Yeah, exactly. But I'll tell you, they've got some really ingenious answers that have served, I feel like, have satiated my quest for knowledge to know what life is about and how I can have a better life than what I was manifesting back then. It's improved so much. And I love to encourage people to stay the course. If you do feel like you resonate with Abraham, these processes that they give us and all, they're just absolute genius to help us manifest what we want in our lives. And there's no reason not to manifest it, because well-being is always flowing to us. And their book, Ask and It Is Given, that's just the essence of what they tell us. You ask, you don't even have to ask with words, but you ask for something just in your thoughts and your vibration, and it is given. And it has a reality all its own, and it's waiting for you in a vibrational vortex, an escrow, and then you can get that just as soon as you match up. Like with law of attraction, you got to match up to it. You've got these happy desires being held in escrow for you, and then when you get happy enough to match how you're going to feel when you get those desires, if you can get that happiness before you get those desires will just flow into your life pretty darn easily. And it's just ingenious, and it works. In my experience, it does work, but you got to work it. You got to be pretty consistent.
Well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I guess what confounded me is that I realized that it was one of the 12 universal laws. So I'm like, well, okay, yeah, I know how to use number 7, but I've pretty much been ignoring the other 11. I'm missing something here, and so until really I started realizing I was always the big picture guy. I was, you give me a bazillion details and somehow they form a big picture. But if I'm supposed to absorb the little details at a time, I'm lost. It's like, no, I tend to observe and get an overall feel for things, more or less. And then I know where to go. I mean, I don't really have when it comes to the detailed things, I was never really that guy. I was just a Oh, well, we got this and we got that and we got, oh, just look at this picture. You know?
Yeah. Well, that must have served you well in starting businesses, I would think, because it seems like that's a big picture kind of a thing. And then you find people to fill in the details and carry out the details. And that seems to me like what probably you've experienced.
Well, and the grandest thing now is, when, 40 years ago when I started doing things, if you're going to create something, you were creating from scratch. You had to pull your tools together, your equipment, your people. You had to sell it. You had to have you had a bunch of pieces that you had to put together and assemble and train and make them all work together. Where now all you need is a concept, decide on what platforms are going to work for you, and then there's specialist teams to hire. You've already got all your pieces. All you need to do is put them together. You don't need to do the bazillion things that I used to do. It's like, no, pick your direction, know your intentions, pick your team, and step back.
Yeah.
So, Craig, you would listen to somebody that people would consider a nobody, but he may have a good idea.
Well, everybody always has good ideas. There are no bad ideas. They have a perception. So it's our job to, I can kind of see what you're saying, but you're not seeing where we're going. So you need to understand it this way. But I really appreciate your input because that gave me a different idea that I was missing a couple steps. And then of course, sometimes, the natural energy is, I know what the hell I'm doing. Get the hell out of my way. It's like, no, you don't know diddly. You pay attention, you might learn something. You didn't know you needed to know something, but you might be learning something if you just wake up.
Yeah. You don't want to cut yourself off from the input of others because Source speaks through so many other people, and you want to encourage. You always want to encourage people to put in their 2 cents. I think, in personal matters or business matters, because you don't want to shut any of that off because some of the best stuff comes that way. You just never know what genius concept's going to come from some rather maybe mundane person. Mm-hmm. And it's just all good.
Yeah, I just realized about a year ago, sitting here with my grandson, how the generations, my kid will come and the grandkid and we're all sitting here supposed to be visiting and they're on their phone. So it's like, well, I don't know why you came necessarily, but I'm glad you're here, but it'd be nice to actually visit. I didn't really want to hear you screaming at your phone.
They're born computer ready. Abraham 101. You may be talking with business clients and everything, and then you've got a grandson or son comes to you with something on his phone and says, have a look at this. Take a time to look at it, and you could be thinking, I haven't thought of that. And you could implement it, and you don't know where it would go.
Like you say, I realized I had to renew my AAA membership. I needed to be aware, attentive, and available. And that's what I realized with my grandson. Because he was all upset that I wouldn't answer my phone. I said, buddy, this is our time. That's, but he was all confused. It's like, normally the phone rings, you pick it up, or it dings, you pick it up. It's like, no. And then I realized, oh my God, just giving him attention is really giving him love, because he was accustomed to being with mom, and you could be in an in-depth conversation. That phone went off and all of a sudden you didn't exist.
Can I give the fourth A? The fourth A?
The fourth A?
Appreciation.
I'm not understanding you.
The fourth A, appreciation.
Oh,
Yeah.
always grateful. I guess I was going for the ga.
Goodness, has my voice gone that much already?
No, it's my computer. So I hear the speakers face up. They were supposed to be great, but half the time I just can't hear on this thing. Well, and it's like for some reason this meeting there's a constant bzz, 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 bzz in the background, and I'm used to all the different background noises. It's like, well, I hear when they turn on the street lights, and I hear the TV when it's not turned on, and then I hear the other sound that's behind it when it is on, and so I'm used to hearing a bunch of things anyway. But it's like, say, today's kind of weird. It's constantly I'm like we're on a timer or something.
That's right. That is very interesting, Craig. Now we don't. I know I don't hear that. Do you hear that, Jonathan? Because it might be something with our Zoom. But do you hear that superfluous noise?
No, I'm wall to wall and treetop tall here.
Yeah, that is interesting though, because we like to know if if you're hearing something that maybe we could fiddle with something and make it better. Mark is yeah, go ahead.
I just figured there's some kind of message there that I'm supposed to be hearing, but I haven't figured out yet. That's all. It's like, okay, well, what's that sound? I mean, when you hear all these sounds that people say are not here, well, you don't really mention it a whole lot, but you have to figure it out. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm standing here listening to you, but you don't realize I'm hearing 14 other things at the same time.
Wow.
Ooh. Maybe maybe in touch with inner being, picking up certain things that we're not meant to hear, but Craig is meant to hear. I am good.
And I'm told most people don't hear the trees talk either, but they're beautiful.
Oh, wow. Well, that's pretty nifty. I mean, it sounds like like the trees talking, that would be positive. Like a lot of it you experience as positive, nice sounds, right?
I started foraging last year and the whole world opened up because it's like, well, holy mackerel, look at everything the universe gives me. And it went from foraging, thinking I had to go here, go get morel mushrooms, blah, 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 to urban foraging. And then I bought the extra lot. So I've got like 20,000 square feet here. And, of course, normally you try to be the good neighbor and keep all your beds weeded and keep your grass cut. But this year, I'm like, well, I'll kind of keep the street side okay, but the rest of it, I'm going to let go wild. And I'm going to figure out what is actually growing here that the universe is giving me. And when am I supposed to harvest it? And how am I supposed to prepare it? And, learning how to make tinctures and infusions. And, so it's between working at the community or volunteering at the community garden and then I minimize my gardens. I'm like, well, we always get too many tomatoes. We always get too many. So I'm like, well, no, I grow all the stuff that they don't, like the thyme and the basil and the sage. And, I basically kind of more or less an herb farmer now. But realizing, it's like just in my yard, I'm giving maple trees, black walnut trees, red raspberries, black raspberries, the dandelions, and you can use all the different parts of those. I love the clover. I love the wood sorrel, the one plantain medicine. I make a painkiller that's better than the narco. There's non-addictive, no side effects, but your pain's gone.
Oh,
It opened up a whole new world because it's like, well, gee, I almost don't have to go to the store anymore. Part of the whole beginning of the battle was, or not battle, but this part of the life's journey is I realized I didn't know anything and that I needed to start at the beginning and I needed to learn how to eat, drink, breathe, move, and sleep. That's where it started. And then, of course, eventually it's, you're supposed to be aware while you're doing those things too. There was a sixth.
Shall we go on to the eat thing, Karen?
Yes.
I apologize. I stepped away for a while, but this is Abraham 101 about eating on certain food substances. It's not necessarily what you are eating, it's how you are feeling when you are eating something. You could get somebody who is eating mass-produced burgers. I'm just grabbing one off the top of my head here. The organic burgers. But how you are feeling when you are eating that. If you're eating something and you feel bad, you will feel. But if you eat something and feel good whilst you're eating something, it gives your body the energy, whatever, to sustain yourself. That is good. But at the same time, never, ever, ever criticize somebody on their eating habits if they are different to yours. Let them live your life, live yours.
Right. And don't criticize yourself either. Because don't criticize yourself about anything, because that's very counterproductive. But yeah. So that's what we've learned from Abraham Craig, is that, you know, so many people are think, okay, well, I shouldn't eat that, and I shouldn't eat that, and I shouldn't breathe that, and I shouldn't have, and that's bad, and everything is so bad. And that Abraham has said, well, we're surprised you find anything that you can even eat, because you're against every kind of thing, the fats and the blah, 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 and the chemicals and the blah, blah, blah. And so it becomes a real negative orientation to what, you know, a person takes into their body. And so what we want to do is, and it sounds like you're really doing that too, is you want to love your food. You want to love everything about it. And in your case, like, you're loving the preparation, the gardening of it, all parts of it. But the average person is so, it's not about that they're eating so bad. It's that they are thinking so bad about what is available. Well, that's bad, and that's bad, and that's bad, and that's bad. And that's Abraham says that that's the worst thing that we could do as far as our eating, is just to eat something and then just to think, oh, that's so bad. That was so bad for me. Why did I do that?
Oh, man.
You know,
Why
you
would
don't want to.
I am reminded of the story of Esther with a certain house guest. Where a certain house, yes, I will not eat this, I will not eat that, I will eat the other. And Esther slowly, from her cupboards and everything, was bringing it all out onto the table.
I had to go back to the start, so I actually gave up breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's like, no, now all you have is peaceful, grateful meals. It doesn't necessarily have to be now or then. It doesn't necessarily have to be this or that. Just when you're moved to eat, and you're moved to eat this particular thing, sit down and enjoy it. Don't worry about everything else. Just, you know, and it was kind of a basic lesson. I realized, oh, I had to clear that kitchen table so I didn't have so many distractions. Oh, and the phone is no longer allowed at the kitchen table. And oh, the TV does not need to be on while I'm having a peaceful, grateful meal. You know, and at first it was like, oh, you're cutting yourself off. It's like, but then it was like, oh, you needed to focus on that and just enjoy that. If you were paying attention to 10 other things, you really weren't being very grateful. You were not being very attentive.
Yeah, that's.
But I mean, I had to take it to the extreme and say, okay, I don't do breakfast, I don't do lunch, I don't do dinner. I just have peaceful, grateful meals.
That's
Hey,
good. And, oh,
Karen, I just want to interrupt because we have had somebody join us.
yes.
Natalia,
Hi,
hello.
Hi, Natalia.
Hi, thank
Welcome.
you.
We
Hi.
Glad to have you join us, my dear.
Nice to see you all again.
And you're in Australia, right?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Yes, right. Well, we remember you with great pleasure, and it's so nice to see you back here. We're just having a free-flowing conversation, and Craig has joined us for the first time, and he's on a really very interesting spiritual journey, and we're kind of telling him a few things that we know from Abraham, and he's sharing some of his experiences. So anyhow, that's it's just a very free-flowing evening, and if you have anything you want to discuss or bring up or add, we hope that you will do so, my dear.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. And Brent may be on later, Brent from Australia. He usually joins us right around this time, I think, Jonathan.
we are 2:01 in the UK, so he's probably just getting up. If Pippa is knocking him on the head, Daddy, get up.
Yeah, I think he goes to his middle daughter's netball games on Saturday mornings, and then he comes along later. So this is another one of our regulars, Craig. He's Brent from Australia. And so for Natalia and Brent, it is Saturday already. For us,
I think for me as well, don't forget.
Yes, and for Jonathan, it's very early Saturday morning, around 2 in the morning. For us, it's 8:56 in the evening.
Carolyn's in Australia, so 14 hours ahead of me, and I keep teasing her. I says, you know, you could send me the damn lottery numbers.
Love that.
How about
He
that?
may send you the Aussie. He may send you the Aussie lotto numbers, not the US lotto numbers. I've got to openly admit, without even manifesting it, I've been talking to a young lady in Michigan, and it's a case of how often I have to apologize for time differences and everything. I haven't spoken for a couple of days, but yes, Karen, she will be interested in moving to Mexico.
Oh, nice. Well, Jonathan, that is nifty to know that you've been chatting with a young woman in Michigan. That's a good place for somebody to come from and connect with.
I know you're going to blooming milk that.
Yes. Yes, Jonathan is a bachelor, and he is going to be moving to Mexico in due time from UK, and he may have him somebody a partner when he goes or soon after.
Say, I'm happy being single. It's that click vibrational match like you have with Mark.
It's a wonderful thing when you both know Abraham, and well, you both know law of attraction at least. And
law of attraction, I don't know how deep.
Nifty, very, very nifty. Yeah, there are a lot of spiritual groups there in Michigan. It seems like Marianne Williamson comes from Michigan, right? I think she's from there. And there are a lot of, they've got some nice stuff going on there. Of course, every state is pretty nice, but yeah. Well, that's.
Bottom line is, there are so many law of attraction teachers, but Abraham is my go-to. Where someone says about, well, what about Wayne Dyer, Bob Proctor, Louise Hay, etc., says, I am aware Abraham is my go-to. And sometimes I go above Abraham as something to his greater genius. Although one and the same.
Yeah, it's all good. I mean, I just like that there's somebody, there's going to be some spiritual teacher for everybody. And I must say, when I was a Baptist for 15 years, not 50, but 15, I I just really loved that belief system. And then I kind of felt like I sort of outgrew it and I wanted to explore further. And then for a while, I felt really mad at that belief system because I felt like, dang, how could I believe that for those years? And what was I thinking? And blah, blah, blah. And then I thought, no. As I moved on beyond it, I also began to appreciate it, I thought, and now when I think of those 15 years, I think those were great years. They were really, really good years because I felt that I'd found my all in Jesus Christ. And it really was great at the time. And people who find their all in whatever it is, that's a wonderful thing, the way I see it. They don't have to see it as I do.
Abraham says that as well.
Yes.
On their path, if they are like following Judaism, Muslim, Christian beliefs, if it is working for them, don't argue with them.
Right.
Let them follow their path.
Yep. So like you say, I was always amazed when I would hear people that, like there's the ACA group and the one gal, that's what she studied for 40 years. So there's a point of admiration, but then I'm like thinking, well, why would one decide on to focus on just one thing? I tend to do a lot, it's like I went and hung out with the Hindus and the Islams and the Sufis and the Sikhs and went to the mosque and, it's like, and of course when I went there, then they're speaking native tongue and, well, yeah, I didn't necessarily understand the words, but all the things told a story and the feeling told a story. So it wasn't important that you didn't understand what the priest said. You could feel what he said.
Very, very nice. Very, very nice.
That was confusing that first time at the Hindu temple because I'm like, well, why in the hell do I understand and I don't understand? They really confused me because I still don't know why. But then they gave me this big silk thing and they wrapped me all up and then sent it home with me and it's gold embroidered. I mean, it's like a $500. I mean, it's freaking humongous. I mean, it's hard to, it's like once I unfolded it so I could do what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to iron it, I guess that's, which would put you in a meditative state. There's a procedure to get you to there, a preparation to put you in that state of mind. But I've unfolded the damn thing. I'm like, geez, oh, Pete, my house is barely wide enough. I didn't know I was that big.
I've got totally agree. In fact, I've argued with certain religious denominations, Christian on various, Muslim on various, Judaism on various, and I've just said, have you come to a conclusion that your living God may be an extraterrestrial and you haven't gone beyond that?
I haven't concluded anything. It's like, well, why would I want to believe anything? I mean, hell, it could be anything. Why would I want to have a preconception? It's like I'm just comfortable. I don't really care what it ends up being. It's all good.
Whatever works for you.
That's like with the Master V. You would always say, well, picture your master, picture your master. And when I started out with doing meditations, I drew pictures with all the colors and the sounds in my head. So basically, I thought I was going to the Himalayan mountains with the monks or the Siberian, or I thought I was going to be with the pharaohs. Well, no, that probably all came out of my mind. Now when I meditate, I just enjoy all the colors and the sounds. Why do I need to make something out of it?
Indeed.
Yeah. If you're feeling good, that's the bottom line. If you're feeling good while you experience that,
it's just a place of amazement. I mean, what more could we ask for?
Indeed. I'm just going on a tangent. Craig, if you notice my name is Jonathan / Julius. I am Jonathan. Julius is a name I was given for my inner being. As Esther, Abraham, Jonathan, Julius. Now, as we go back on it, you know, Abraham coming to Esther as teacher. Julius was a bit of a, I will say, a laugh at the time, because I went looking for what does Julius mean. And as close as I could get it, Julius meant Sky Master. And Karen, you know the story.
Yes, Sky Master.
Sky Master. Oh, okay. I thought you said Guy Master. The Sky Master makes more sense.
Star Wars fan, biggest one in the Star Wars saga, Sky Master. So when I got this thing about Sky Master, this is what you're going to call us. Of course, I was giggling under my breath, and I thought, okay, I accept that, because this is anybody who allows, and for this time we will use the word channel, the thing that comes through is relevant to the person who is allowing channeling. I hate that word as much as this.
It's like Kevin, if you say should, it sets him right off.
Yeah.
You listen to enough Abraham workshops. Abraham now is much of me as Karen has Abraham says we do not like the word channeling, and I say that, and I do believe I've said that in the past when Julius come through. We do not like the word channeling. It is allowing that inner being to come through, to connect. It just for your own personal, or to give advice to others. You know, how they take the advice is up to the individual.
Yeah. I know with Kevin and his should, now I just say I am led to.
Good. That's a very good replacement. I'm sure he's fine with that.
Yeah. He has asked me a couple of questions about that one, like question mark, like, what do you mean? Like, I think he heard that should word, even though I was replacing it. You know, you're trying to sneak around me, aren't you?
I do remember when the first time I let Julius come through to give words of wisdom and everything, and Kevin just said, want a better word, this is genuine.
We're looking forward to next week when Jonathan/Julius shares with us and we can ask questions and it'll just blow. It certainly did in the past and it's going to be nifty. Yeah.
Hopefully I can wear my headset. I can hear a lot better with the Bluetooth thing you do, but I don't know. I there for the longest time I thought it was little buggies going in and out of my ear. It was mostly the right ear, unless it was a real busy day. Then they'd use the left one. And then a couple of days ago, I'm like, well, that's just my hairs trying to go somewhere. But anyway, if I get something in my ears, it doesn't take long, and it's like there's a revolt going on in there, like they're blocked off. And I'm like, damn, I can hear really good, but they're really getting upset. I guess I have to just pay better attention or something. Let them do their thing.
Well, you are tuned in to something really. Yeah, you're tuned in. When
in a lot on that cruise who have been double vaccinated, who have been able to go on that cruise. But we accept there are those who may not have been able to go on that cruise. And we will do our best to give entertaining and aligned answers to whatever you choose to ask. We are complete this moment.
Thank you. That's good. Yeah, that's really nifty. Yeah, the Abraham is. Let's see, it'll be this month that they will do the Alaskan cruise. So, for years and years, Craig, Abraham has been leading a cruise, like from Seattle up to Alaska, and then so they're going to resume that then. Obviously, last year there were no cruises, but now they're going to be able to do that. And then after that, let's see here, in October, they're going to take folks on a cruise along the Pacific coast from the San Francisco area down to Ensenada. Let's see, down to Mexico. And so they're going to do 2 cruises. But the thing that developed was that the cruise line, whatever one they're using, said now that folks must be vaccinated in order to go on those cruises, which Abraham didn't know that at first, and the people didn't know that at first. And so there was a bit of consternation, we shall say, about people who don't want to get vaccinated. And they want to go on the cruise, but they don't want to get vaccinated. So it's a bit of a dilemma. But what Jonathan was referring to is that folks that say are not going to go because they are not going to get vaccinated, Jonathan was saying that other answers will be provided. And Julius can provide some answers too when Julius shares next week. And so there are other ways of getting information. If you have a question, you put it out there, and then you just know that the answer is going to come to you as you match up, as you feel happy, as you feel relaxed, as you feel satisfied. The answers to your questions are going to come to you. It's not going to be that difficult. They may not come exactly in the way you thought, but they will come. And so Jonathan was alluding to that. And
why do you think we told Esther it would be best for her to have the vaccination? We do love to talk to you in a group, in a workshop, and we did know that if Esther did not have the vaccination, if we said to her, do not have the vaccination. We did know, because of how the world is at this moment in time, you would not get the workshops So we said it is best for you to have the vaccination. Therefore, the workshop can go ahead. And anybody who has decided, for whatever reason, not to have the vaccination, that is fine. We are not saying have the vaccination. That is your choice. But in humanness, you must understand that if you say, I'm not going to have the vaccination, that there will be people in their humanness will like, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, you are not doing the other and everything. Bottom line is, going back to it and everything, where Esther took her first and second vaccination peacefully. I will not say with pleasure, but peacefully. It was because what we said, you would need this to continue the workshops. Yes, Esther and Abraham have enjoyed the Abraham Now broadcasts, but we love to get out there and interact with people on a one-to-one level. Yes, we can read an email, we can answer an email, but it's that interaction that gives the energy to the people who are sitting around us, who may be seeking the same answer for the person who is given that question in the hot seat. We are complete. We are one. Different names, one and the same.
At least I figured out where the sound came from. It's you, because it varies with your words. The tone changes. It's like, so that sound is you.
Oh, okay.
Before I'd never met you before.
Where's Dory? Where's Dory? The tone changes. Where's Dory?
Yeah, we have another person, Dory, who is usually on by now. And she's usually has some good input. And so, but that's who Jonathan's referring to. So do you not hear that sound when Jonathan isn't talking, Craig? That background sound?
It varies. See, like how he just moved his hand and then it started to spike, but then he stopped, so it went silent. It's like he's trying to say something now because it's.
That is so interesting because I don't hear a darn thing. Yeah.
That's what I mean about keeping my mouth shut about some things. It's like, well, ain't no point in even bringing that up because they ain't going to hear it, Craig. So there ain't no point in you explaining you're distracted. You know? They ain't going to see what you're distracted by.
I see clearly, Craig. There is great love for you here.
Everywhere. I'm grateful. I realize I don't fit anywhere, but I'm welcome everywhere.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. And you don't need to fit anywhere.
No, I get to go many places by not fitting anyone.
Yeah, exactly. You can just fly around and you can be so amorphous and enjoy the heck out of just so many aspects of life by not just, focusing and saying, okay, I am this. Then your identity is so broad because you're identifying with your source energy, apparently, that you just feel akin to every place. So that's a nice state to be in, I'd say.
Yeah, like I say, I mean, I can go places. It's nice now that I've allowed myself to feel, because for all my life I could feel you, but I couldn't feel me, so I didn't know the difference.
Ooh.
That's interesting. You could feel other people. But
Oh, going to a concert was hell. I mean, to go to a public place where there was a lot of people, that was hell for me. You go into a concert where everybody was riled up, or like you'd go to Headbanger. I mean, I generally didn't go to concerts, but I had friends with many varied interests, you know, and boy, some of those places I just shouldn't even gone to the parking lot.
Yeah. So
I
you
shouldn't
were
even thought about going.
you were picking up on others' emotions. Is that what you're saying? You were picking up on other people's feelings?
Well, and a lot of times they're thoughts, you know, it's like sometimes I'll meet somebody and if you're important, I'll kind of get a little flash of most of your life, or probably not most of it, but I'll see a whole bunch of you. So I already know you. It's like, oh, yeah, we've had a conversation. Yeah, I know these couple things, but oh, now they kind of fit into the story.
Yeah, so you kind of have some of these intuitive abilities that, but do you still have that sensation of when you say go into a crowded room where you're picking up, where it's kind of overload, or have you kind of moved beyond that, or does it even matter?
Well, now I can acknowledge what is from who. You know, before I could go into 1,000 people and I just had 1,000 people. I became 1,000 people. And I didn't know who I was, so being 1,000 people was really confusing. And my whole life, I always knew that, you know, I always knew it was not me, myself, or I, and I knew I wasn't them, those are the others. So I knew I had to be at least the 7th one up there, observing the other 6.
There's one up there observing the others. I recently posted this about a case of you may meet so many people on a date. Well, this is fully from what I posted. You may meet people on a day-to-day basis that are not a vibrational match to you. But if you continue to keep your vibrational match high, the ones who will align with you, they will align with you.
Yeah.
Who do not align with you will go to the wayside.
Mm-hmm. It was always nice being a salesman, though, because if I met you, I knew a lot about you before you ever opened your mouth. So I pretty much closed the sale before you said anything. I already knew what you wanted. I already knew whether it was you or your wife or who was controlling the scenario. You know,
Who
it's
controls
like,
my scenario?
sorry, what?
Who controls my scenario?
No idea. I think you do.
Go! Thank you, Craig. I did not need clarity, but that was good.
Like I say, I was confused by the sound. I was trying to determine if it was the sound or you.
If you're not careful, I'll just put Joy is the keel in the background and you will be really confused.
If what was in the background?
I will just go into my blooming Abraham related music and put Joy is the keel in the background, and then your mind will be going, who is he?
He's probably the sound. That's probably what the other. That's probably the Julius is the sound. You've got a voice. It has to talk that way.
Oh, interesting.
At this moment, this is Jonathan at this moment. I will tell you, Karen and Doria would say if it was Julius was coming out to play.
I can hear him. He's over here. He's over here. Oh, now he ducked out. There he is. There he is.
We are wherever you want to hear us.
I like hearing all those things. Like, say, going to the priest and that. It's like hearing things that you. It's kind of nice not knowing. You know, it's like, okay, it's just nice. You know, I'm not. It's not like I'm moved to have to do something. I just get to enjoy doing whatever the hell it is I'm doing.
Are you happy where you are, Craig?
Yep.
Are
Love
you
it.
in your journey?
Very much so.
Are good things coming to you that you do desire?
More than I could ever imagine.
Then you are more than halfway there.
Yeah, that's great. That is just exciting. Yeah.
I don't care if it's 3 or 3,000 next week. He was wanting to back out. Jonathan. Let's go for it. There's a few things going off for Jonathan that was thinking he may back out.
Yeah. I know I did. I checked out. It's like I was realizing yesterday. I'm like, wait a minute. That was 22 days, and you can only account for about 9 of them. And I know where my body was. I just don't know where the rest of me was for that other 12, 13 days. But I have those spells, you know, and I'll have like the 5 or 6 hour ones where I don't know where I go. And then I'm right-handed, so normally I write with my right hand, but my left hand will be resting, and then it writes a bunch of stuff for me. So it's kind of cool when I come back. It's like, ooh, what's that?
Wow, you are having some amazing experiences and fun.
Well, and I was all kind of upset initially. I'm like, well, how the hell did I lose 5 hours? You know, and then I'm like, maybe it wasn't so bad. It was actually pretty good. Well, what are you worried about losing 5? Where were you going? You have someplace important to go or something? And it's weird because the first time it happened for me, I was always very time conscientious. You would never see me without my waterproof watch. It didn't matter if I was 50 feet down. I still knew what time it was. Well, the first time that happened to me was I took my watch off, and all of a sudden things became timeless. I'm like, whoa. So then it there for a little while became a habit. It's like, oh, I'm not putting that damn watch back on. I like those timeless moments. Even if they do kind of, you miss a couple days. What the hell? You know?
I'll just quick question. But Facebook Live, if they put comments, how good and how happy do you feel?
It's still not 100%. I still got other things that I know that I'll end up getting, but I'm content with where I am.
Mm-hmm. Contentment. You're in the top half of the emotional scale. That is good for me.
Well, for me, I realized yesterday is I have to be in that comfortably uncomfortable position. When I become comfortable, I become lackadaisical. So I have to be on that, okay, you're a little uncomfortable, so yeah, you'll do something. Oh, and it was funny because the universe said, well, I had to make you uncomfortable. You'd have never freaking moved.
If you are feeling uncomfortable, it is a message from your inner being to move up the scale. No, I'm not going to say we are so good. That sounds so arrogant, but yeah, if you're aware where you are on the emotional scale, that is good.
Yeah, I realized most of my life I spent in a state of avoidance and denial, and that's not where I was supposed to be. Well, I was for that period of time, apparently, but I recognized that, no, Craig, denying the feelings and avoiding the feelings leads to denying and avoiding everything else. And that's when your addictive behavior comes in, because you can't set it off without some extra something.
Avoidance and denial. Abraham has not said that he's on the emotion. They have said it in recent Abraham Nows. Avoidance and denial. Karen, where would you put them?
Would I put those on the emotional scale? Avoidance, yeah, that's avoidance. That's definitely lower half.
I'll put about 15.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, when you're focused on something you don't want and you're trying to get away from it, that's definitely not a high vibing, a good feeling place. And denial.
That's very low.
Yeah.
Would you put it along with anger at 17 or lower?
Maybe sort of like that, but of course Abraham gives a different definition to denial than what we typically think of, because they say that actually we want to deny, we want to not look at the crap in our lives. If things aren't going well, we're better off to stick our head in the sand like an ostrich, rather than look at how bad it is and lament how bad it is. So we're better off. So they give a positive spin to denial. They don't even use the word actually, but yeah, just to just not focus. Don't focus on the stuff you don't want, because through law of attraction, you're only going to get more of it. So turn away from that. And they say that when Jesus talked about turning the other cheek, he was actually meaning turn from not to let somebody slap you again necessarily on your other cheek. But look elsewhere, look in the other direction, because our mental focus is everything. Where we're focusing is what we are pulling into our experience. So yeah, for them, denial, it's not really part of the ape category. Yeah, they give kind of a different connotation to it.
Well, and for me, the way it works out is if there's discomfort, for me now, all it is that there's an indication there's a lesson available. There's really not much to think about. It's like, no, pay attention. You were there. What were you supposed to be attentive to that you weren't? It's like, okay, you're uncomfortable for a reason. What in the hell's the reason? It's not that you're uncomfortable. It's not a bad thing. It's just like, wake up. Hello.
Right. And that's, Abraham says, if we're feeling bad, feel it. Certainly feel those feelings. And then ask ourselves, okay, what were we thinking in order to generate this bad feeling? And if we can pinpoint it, that's great. We can't always pinpoint it. But what we want to do then is we can stay right on that subject. We don't have to look off in the distance or be like an ostrich, but staying on that subject, then we want to just bring it up a notch. Like maybe I'm thinking, gosh, I've got a doctor's appointment coming up and I'm afraid it might not go too well. And then I could say to myself, hey, you know what? I've had a lot of doctor's appointments in my life and they've all gone pretty darn well. So I think the likelihood that this one's going to go well is good. So that would be an example, just up a little bit. If I was feeling upset, or if I'm feeling like, gee, I don't know if I've got quite enough money. I've got a little bit more month than money. And then I can, again, it's soothing myself. Hey, I've been in this situation a lot of times. And you know what? The money's always come. And, I bet that this is going to be no different. So, yeah, here's Mark with, this is the emotional scale that we were talking about. In case you're not familiar with it, Craig, and I think probably Natalia is familiar with it. Oh yes, I thought that you would be for sure. It is a lot of what Abraham bases their talk around. And so it's 22. This is just an overview, just a kind of a shortened version. There are many, many more feelings in there. They gave us just this basic overview, and then the top 7, we are feeling good. And the bottom to the 22, from 8 to 22, we are actually not feeling so good, with it getting increasingly worse as you go down.
I saw something similar to that years ago, that it was called the state of consciousness. And it's very similar.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Probably the same. I don't remember how many numbers there were the last time around, but I remembered, well, and I don't see it here, but like on the one that I saw, shame was right down there at the bottom.
Yeah, we should have shame on there for sure. I'm surprised shame isn't there, because shame's a big one.
By the way, Karen, you mentioned that Abe in the last the last video, right? The Abe Now thing, mentioned a new book that's coming out.
Yep.
And the clue that I caught when they talked about that new book is it's going to be more of this, but more words to go with on it. So I think it's going to be about this vibrational scale, and something about adding more,
a lot
more words, like having more words and being able to. I think they're going to play with a bunch of words in the book and apply it to the scale.
Yeah, I would think, and the other scale that I saw, number 1 was actually bliss.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That could be.
But like you say, they were similar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Abraham has said, and not so many things, from this emotional scale, and I've done it myself, put in an emotion where you think it is. And of course, this is number 1 to me. You know, and yeah, I think it will be number 1 to everybody, bliss. But you know,
beat that.
Go on the scale, and of course, there are certain ones I want to input. 19, hatred, rage. I would add there, righteous indignation. No, I have to be right. My opinion is right. I don't care what they're saying. I am right. But as we all know, Abraham says, you don't have to be right.
Right. Correct.
Let everybody be where they are in their journey. If you've got an opinion and someone says, I think that opinion is idiotic, you can turn around to them and say, you are entitled to your opinion. And that's it. The classic example is, and I'm going on something else, the old line, do or do not, there is no try. When I said that to somebody years ago, they said, that sounds so stupid. This was pre-Abraham law of attraction. And if I was in the right place at the right time, I would have just said, you're entitled to your opinion. I don't give. Or words to that effect.
I got a chuckle out of that first list because I'm like, yeah, bliss. It's at the top of the list. I'm like, typo. I thought it was blitzed.
Same thing, isn't it?
You could. Hello, Brent.
Hey, Brent. Good to see you. We've got Natalia from your fine country here, too.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Hi, Natalia.
We are always.
Hi.
And we have Craig. We have a new person named Craig from Detroit, not Detroit, from Michigan. I don't know if it's Detroit, but anyway, he has joined us for the first time tonight. And so we're having quite a nifty conversation.
Yeah.
I've got so much flying in my head. Karen, people saying on the recent Abraham Now, they're saying, "Oh, hi, Abraham." And Abraham has been giving the old answer they would give in workshops. We are.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not I am, it's we are. It even feels better if you say it. I don't know. I guess everybody doesn't hear the word or feel the words either. It's like, yeah, it's kind of cool. It's like, oh, cool. Now I got a different kind of language. It's like, ooh, now I know. I knew the meaning of the word, but I didn't know the meaning of the word.
Hi equals aligned. Ooh, deep, 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 deep.
So now that Brent came on, we're all waiting for Brent to take over, not take over, but bring wisdom.
We're waiting for the Jonathan discussion.
Yeah. Look, I just got back. My daughter's been playing netball, so yeah, we just got back. So yeah.
Brent, what state are you in?
Sorry,
What state are you in?
side.
State.
STATE.
I got lots of noise here. I've got the
Adelaide.
Well,
I
you have to
I'm in Adelaide.
you have to understand.
Adelaide.
You have to understand, Brent. She does have an accent.
Yeah, it's a bit hard because
And you've got an
playing video games.
Oh, wait a minute. She's got your accent. Uh-oh.
I love that Australian accent. It's so great.
Well, we're understanding her, but you're not. So that's okay. Go ahead for it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm here in Adelaide. So
Okay.
Natalia, you're in Melbourne, yeah, obviously.
I am.
Richmond poster back there.
Yeah.
I suppose I shouldn't mention Richmond. They're not doing so well, but they've done well in the last few years. So
That's all right. I mean, we can't win them all. I'm still going to watch them tonight.
Yeah, who are they playing tonight?
You got bronze in
North Melbourne. So we're going to win.
You're going to win. Yeah,
we better.
What sport are they playing?
Australian football.
Football. Okay.
Have you ever watched it? Is
it different than soccer?
It is crazy. It is crazy. Like, it's crazy. You've got to watch it. Look up AFL, and then it's a crazy game. Absolutely crazy game.
So tell me, is it something like soccer?
No.
What do they do?
Mark.
Is it like rugby?
Get in on this.
No. So they play with
Australian rules football is more like your American football. Vaguely.
Okay, Natalia, tell me what they do, because I'm a sports guy. I need to know.
So they play with an oval ball, and it's when you watch it, it's just like it seems like a free for all because they can bounce the ball, they can run with the ball, they can throw it with their hands, they can kick it, and they've got 1, 2, 3. So there's 4 posts. There's 2 short ones, and in the middle there's 2 long ones. If you get the ball through the middle, it's a goal, and you get 6 points. If you get it to either side, it's 1 point. And it's just it's a crazy game. It's just like really. It's just like they're all jumping on each other. You get players like jumping really high on top of each other's shoulders to catch the ball, and it's mad.
Okay, is there only one ball going on, or is there 2 balls?
One ball. No, it's one ball.
Okay, trust me, I have played in the Army. I have played something that we called combat football, and it was kind of similar to what you're talking about. there's not a lot of rules involved. It's just, but the goalpost wasn't the same as what you're describing. We just had like a soccer goal, but actually no, it was just over the line actually. But it was two balls going, and anybody, a whole lot of people on the field, and you could tackle, you can carry, you can kick, you can do whatever you want to do. But it's similar to rugby, right? Maybe. Do you know what rugby is?
So they do tackle each other.
Yeah.
They do tackle each other, but like what I find frustrating with, I don't know the rules. There's two types of rugby that's played here. I don't know the difference, to be honest, because I've never followed it. Victoria, my state, is very big on this game, and then the other states like New South Wales and Queensland is more rugby. So the majority of AFL teams are in Victoria. So what I find with the rugby is that it doesn't flow. Like they run like a few meters and they get tackled and then they have to start again. Whereas this is just like them running from one side to the next and kicking the ball for 50 meters and it's bad. It's very fun. It's very fun.
Would that be considered the national game of Australia? Maybe. Is it that big?
Yeah. It's the national. It's Australian football. Yeah.
It is very big.
Okay, so look up what AFL did you say?
AFL? Yeah, AFL. Yeah.
AFL.
AFL, okay. All right, I'll look it up.
This is a cross between rugby and American football. The Australians will want more. But in our understanding, you will look at the rules and you think this is a cross between an American football.
Does anybody else play that game just like that? I mean, does Australia play against any other country?
No. Yeah, we play against Ireland in what's called international rules.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is a cross between AFL and soccer, but AFL is like rugby. It's kind of similar to rugby, but it's like soccer in that it doesn't stop.
Right.
And I had American football explained to me once, and you've got 5 downs. Is it 5 downs?
4.
4 downs. Yeah. Okay. And you set up, teams play, bam, stop after 5 seconds, 10 seconds. Next down, stop, and then the whole team changes. Australian rules is nothing like that. It just keeps going and going and going like soccer, and it's a bit like rugby. The ball is the same shape, and it's kind of like American football. You got to get between 2 posts, but you got 2 smaller posts. If you get the two big posts kick the ball between that, then that's 6 points. And if you get on one on the side, it's 1 point.
Yeah.
It's a very, very exciting game. And it's actually the oldest football in the world. It was codified before soccer, which was called association football, and association became abbreviated to soccer. And before it was codified back in 1870 or something like that. So some teams are like, there's a team where I am in Adelaide, Port Adelaide. They were established in 1876, so they're really old. And there's teams in Melbourne that have been around longer than that. And it's a mix. There was an Aboriginal game called Marngrook, which is a game the Aboriginals used to play where they used to toss an animal skin. They used to, who could jump up and mark it, and what's called a mark, catch the ball, and that was adapted. The Australian settlers saw it, and they also heard of rugby, or they sort of made up their own idea.
So that
input, Mark. Sorry, I'm going to give input here. Australian rules football. It's something for people who gamble. you know, when our English football season finishes and Australian football is on heat, we tick what teams we think will draw win.
So I played a game very similar to that, but you know, you said it keeps going, and I understand what you're saying. But if that ball goes, you have to have it out of bounds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if your ball goes out of bounds, play kind of stops until they figure that out, right? Get it back in.
Yeah.
Now we played something very, very similar to that with two balls, which means if one ball goes out of bounds, there's another ball that's in action. So it was constant running, and it was good when I could do it when I was younger. I was probably 25, 30 at the time, but yeah, I got to look it up because it's going to remind me of my playing days back in Fort Campbell, Kentucky.
Yeah, well, there was a game that the Americans, when the American soldiers were stationed in Australia, they played a combination of the Australian game and the American game, where they allowed the players to throw the ball. In Australian football, you can't actually pick it up and throw it like rugby or like American rules. You've got to hit it with your hand. You've got to punch it somehow. You know, it's a little bit different. And
we can pick it up.
Yeah. There are a few. I think there are a few Americans playing it here. There's a guy called Mason Cox who plays for a team called Collingwood, and he's like 2 meters tall. It's like 7'3" or whatever it is. You know, he's a huge guy, and he does really, really well. And it's super popular in a lot of places.
I would say this: it would be nice. I don't know much about Aussie rules football. It'd be nice if it did hit the Olympics just for once, like karate has this time around.
Yeah, well, Australia's going to be hosting the Olympics in 2032, so it might be an exhibition sport.
It will be exhibition. It will be. It's got to be exhibition.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just a minute. I got to go.
Yeah, it's a really fun game to watch live. Unfortunately, like this year or last year, there were no live games. All the teams, so all the majority of the teams are based in my state, and the majority of the teams had to move because we had like a very big outbreak last year in our state. The majority of the team, all the teams moved to Queensland, and they were playing over there, Queensland and New South Wales, I think. So it was the first grand final. The grand final is usually played in September. So it was the first grand final that wasn't played in September and that wasn't played in Melbourne. So and we won. So I think that post has been up since last year when I decorated my whole house. We're in lockdown and I decorated my whole house and I sat there and drank vodka and Fanta while I was watching the game.
Live game Fanta. Did you bet on the game?
No. I never do. I don't know. Like it's not something. I don't really like. I know that a lot of people do bet on the games, but it's not something that anyone that I know does. So I'm sure there is like because
I don't bet either, but I just heard Brent say that a lot of people bet on it. So.
Oh yeah, because there's a lot of advertising for the betting on the games and stuff, and when you go in like there's an AFL app where they actually show you the ladder of how all the teams are going, and when they advertise the games, they actually tell you the odds of each team, and how much it'll pay if you're actually betting on it. Yeah. So from the odds you get an idea of who might win, but it doesn't always work out.
You don't even need to put no money on it because I can see immense enthusiasm about that game coming out of you.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
This is like, this is, if I go to a game, I usually take my 10-year-old daughter with me, and as soon as my team comes out and they're singing the song, I'm like dancing, and like she looks at me like, "Mom, you're a freak." I don't care. I'm like, I'm flying high.
Love it.
It makes me happy.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. I love it when women especially get really into sports. I love to see that, because sometimes I think, we kind of miss out on all the fun that we could have. And I get to be quite a fan of certain sports and certain teams myself. And I just love it. I love that, it just brings a whole new dimension to your life if you have this passion.
Karen and I used to have.
Go on, Mark. I was just about to say, to add to this, I was watching the Olympics earlier. Anybody in the group knows I am a karateka. So I was watching the Olympic karate, and it was a certain name that came up. I was thinking, depending on him to get the gold, and I would have had moolah.
Yep.
But at the same time, I just think, hey, there is always another boat.
Yep.
Yeah, Karen and I used to go to Orlando Magic basketball games. We had season tickets for 10 years or so. Really good seats, but it was our date night. 45 games a year. We would go to the games, and with very good seats, and we'd go. It was our date nights, and we'd have tacos, and we'd get one beer, and she would drink 3/4 of it, and I would drink about 1/4 of a beer, and it was really good. And
way around, other way around.
Yeah, right. What Karen said about it's really cool about women, like in sports. Karen actually knows a lot about basketball, and I mean seriously, a lot. She knows the coaches way more than I do. She studies stuff like around basketball, so it was a lot of fun to be able to share that. We stopped doing that a couple of years ago, but yeah, it's really nice to have fun. Anything to go have fun.
Yeah, this was total fun. I mean, just stop, we're trying to get this done, that, and just put that all aside and go off to that game and just lose yourself in it. I mean, it's just there's so much joy in that. And then you look around and there's thousands of other people really into it and having a good time and relaxing. Even if you're not winning, it's just a great outlet. It's something that there's certain things that I can be passionate about on just watching on TV as well. But those Magic games were really, really special. We're thankful that we had that experience, and we live in an area where there is a professional basketball team. We don't have a professional football team in Orlando, but there's one in Tampa. So if we wanted to go there, we could, but that's 2 hours away, so we probably won't. but it's nice to have access.
I cannot remember what team Esther follows, but she has so many times said about watching a team, how they are in
basketball.
zone. And
yes, that's our San Antonio. So just like we have the Orlando Magic, the San Antonio Spurs, which is great, a Texas name, Spurs. So that's her team, and that she follows, living there much of the year, well, part of the year in San Antonio. And I guess her son-in-law got her tickets one time, and she just really, really started to get into it, and just got so that's professional basketball, NBA, we call it, National Basketball Association. And her team is traditionally been way better than our team, our Magic team. Although they've had their years, but yeah. Anyway, but it's just good.
And Karen can tell you the names of the players and the coaches of San Antonio probably as well as Esther Hicks does. Esther goes to the games. At least like a few years ago when we were watching, you could name them all, right?
Used to be. I kind of got.
Karen.
Like Craig knows, Indiana and Michigan and Ohio, for instance, and other states as well, we have really strong like sports with college sports. Like Craig comes from a state, University of Michigan, big powerhouse of sports, especially football. And then they have their rivalries with the University of Ohio and then we have Indiana University. And so the Midwest of the United States, that area.
Ohio State.
Ohio State. Yeah, Ohio State, that is. Ohio State and Indiana University.
University of Michigan.
University of Michigan. And Michigan State sometimes as well. I guess.
Well, I kind of started viewing that sort of a thing almost like a group meditation. It's like the whole crowd is in the same zone. So you go to a place like that, it would almost be a meditative experience, I would assume. I was never the sports guy. I didn't have a dad, so sports was never my thing. And then when I did get a dad, dads weren't my thing, so sports couldn't be my thing. Dude, that's too much anger with the first one that wasn't there, and then the second one that I didn't know about, and I really wasn't. The second one on paper beat the hell out of me, so I really wasn't ready for a third.
Heck with that, for sure.
Dads, and then I had to be one. Oh, talk about confusing.
It could be a lot rather complex, but yeah, you're right. There was a back when I was in Ashland, Oregon, and I was doing a lot of exploring. I had friends that were doing a lot of metaphysical exploring, and so my sons were into football, and we had a really good high school football team. But anyway, this one friend of mine would go to the football game. She didn't know anything about it. She didn't care anything about it, but she would just go to feed on that energy, to feel that good feelings of the crowd, just so into it and so exciting. And she didn't care to learn about it at all. And she didn't even care who won or lost, but she just wanted to go because she could marinate in that good feeling of energy and empowerment and interest and excitement. I just thought that was very interesting because I was into it.
What the sport is, if you have respect for the participants, no matter country or whatever, you can have a certain level of respect for them for where they are. Yes, that is what we are looking for in words. We are complete.
Yeah, I think there's a quote from Abraham Hicks or from Esther Hicks where they say something like you're going to find more love in a football match than you got than a congregation at a church often, because it's the positivity. Yeah, the positivity is greater there because people are there's rivalry between the teams, but they're not they don't hate each other. They're not going to kill each other. But some religious meetings, that's all us against them, and the saints and the sinners and things like that. Yeah, so it's a interesting thing that you can feed on that energy. And you can, get swept up with all that. It's a congregation in a sense. It's a collective gathering, and it's, like they say, when in the Bible, what's that quote? When two people are gathered in my name, they are more powerful than something around. I don't know exactly, but there's that idea that as people get together, it becomes, it sort of builds up. It gets momentum by itself. So yeah, and I know that where Natalia is from. So it's it can get really a really strong. I don't think you're living in Tigerland, but Richmond Tigers, they are really in their area. It's fanatical in a lot of ways, and a lot of people feed on that energy. And just recently in the States, it was the basketball final, and um, the celebrations they had. I don't know where it was. I forget the name, but yeah, you could see all that gathering of people, and so that those are. It's sort of a human thing. It harks back to the idea, the Roman idea of bread and circuses. Get them together and keep the masses happy, and it's been there for a long time, and it's kind of tribalism or this group think in a lot of ways, group mentality. So people really can get a lot of benefit from it as long as it's directed in the right way. I mean, you can look at Nazi Germany and say, well, that's the wrong way to have groupthink going. But if it's directed in a good way, then yeah, I think it's very beneficial. It can, as Craig said, it can be like a meditation. It can be something that it's a shared experience.
Shared allegiance. And yeah, it's could be really meaningful.
I like the math of energy, because with the math of energy, 1 plus 1 is not necessarily equal to.
Craig, I will let you speak first, Craig.
Already did.
Yeah. Any.
I take her outside.
Yeah, I saw a very interesting video of Esther Hicks talking about coaching or coaching basketball. I don't know if you've seen that one.
What about not baseball?
No, it's about a guy who's a basketball coach came in, and he was saying, how can I help them, and how can I coach better? And she was talking about, well, it's the vortex, and as Mark has said before, getting into the vortex, as Esther Hicks says, is kind of like athletes getting into the zone, and when
Craig used the word zone before, and I was going to say that it's like the zone, Craig. So go for it. Go ahead, Brent.
Yeah, so it's one of those situations where what she was saying is that it's not winning or losing as such. The scoreline is not really the important thing. The important thing is getting into the zone, getting into the vortex, really, becoming caught up in the moment, I suppose, or really getting into alignment. And when you're in alignment, then that's the main thing. That's what you're really striving for. It's not getting more points on the scoreboard so much as getting more alignment within yourself, and that can happen. So this idea of crowds and group think, or collective consciousness, it will work as long as people are getting in alignment, as long as people are getting into their own getting in touch with their own vortex or whatever. When people get too caught up in it, like people, getting the gold medal or getting whatever medal or something is the be all and end all, then that becomes a bit of a trap, a bit of a you're focused on the result rather than the experience. So like I was saying to Natalia, her team has done really, really well in the past few years, and now they're going down a bit, but people, as long as they're enjoying it, as long as people are having fun, and as long as people are using that as a way to get into the vortex or get in alignment with themselves, then that's quite a good thing. You know, it doesn't really matter, you know, with the top of the table or middle or bottom or whatever.
Yeah, with that whole zone thing, looks like my current perception of in the zone is more or less thoughtless consciousness. You know, it's like you're just there. You're just doing it. It's just happening. You don't really need to do a whole lot of thinking. You're supposed to be enjoying.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right.
Before I've got to take a 2-minute break, Karen, baseball guy, you know what I'm on about.
Did you say Facebook guy?
Baseball guy.
Baseball, I caught the guide or
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes, baseball guy. Absolutely. That's who it is. Yeah, I thought you said Facebook guy. A lot of Facebook guys. Yeah, baseball guy is like, oh. Yeah, that's a guy that has been on the in the hot seat with Abraham for so many times over the years. He's in just year after year after year, and and somehow this guy is so relaxed and aligned that he gets in the hot seat, which is no small task really, because we know tons of people who've wanted to be in the hot seat but never got there. So Abraham will ask for questions, and almost everybody holds up their hand, but this baseball guy has gotten in there so many times, and he's just a kind of a relaxed, kind of goofy type fella, and he just comes across as just so himself and so natural. And we're not sure what teams he's played for, but he's moved up the ranks over the years, and so he just asked so many questions about how can I be a better pitcher? How can I be, how can I make this team? Just all these baseball questions over the years. So he's known as baseball guy. But they're questions that apply to everything. And the answers, I should say, apply to everything. You know, how you become a better baseball pitcher is also how you become a better CEO of a company, and how you become a better partner to your spouse. And it's just all these timeless principles. And so,
yeah, I just sorry to interrupt, but I just want to touch on something. Similar thing is that a book that Mark brought up a few weeks back called The Inner Game of Tennis. And I had a look. I looked online and found that, and you know, where he's talking about, you know, it's relaxed concentration, which is kind of what Craig was saying. You know, and this guy has these ideas of two minds. You know, you've got your consciously directed mind, which is, you know, always often going to trip you up, and you've got this other mind, you know, this mind which you can just let go, and you know, it knows how to hit the perfect tennis shot, it knows how to do the perfect golf stroke or whatever. And if you can get out of the way, you can get mind number one out of the way and let mind number two start doing it, then that's when you're in the zone, that's when you're in your vortex, when you're in alignment. And so it's really a matter of stepping back and letting things drop, you know, and that, sports can be a great way of doing that, you know.
I love that one because it's like with me was always the only thing that could possibly get in my way is myself.
Yeah. That's right. You have to be their own worst enemy.
This author, Tim Galloway, would say the only thing that get in your way is your self one, and let your self two. He calls them self one and self two. It's kind of really a neat book you would probably like that, Craig, too. The Inner Game of Tennis by Timothy Galloway. So I really love that book. Yeah, and I've experienced that. I've experienced that in sports my whole life. And Craig, I know you've experienced that in business. He also has another book about inner game of business or something like that. That he actually coached a lot of high executives in a whole lot of businesses and things. So, and salespeople and stuff like that. Go ahead, Brent.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, but I was going to say I'm reading another book now as well, by a guy called Anthony Kaplan, and it's called the last book, the last law of attraction book you'll ever need to buy, or something like
Oh,
that.
really?
You'll ever need to read.
Really?
Yeah, yeah,
I
and
can save you a lot of money, man. Write that one down, Karen.
I
Yeah.
will write that one down.
He's on Facebook, and he'd probably come on do a chat on Abraham Fun here. You know, you could ask
That'd
him.
be good.
Yeah, you know, 'cause I'm sure he'd like to promote his book. But
Yeah.
he's talking about what he calls it the ego, but it's I think that's a bit of a confusing term. It's more like the survival ego, and it's he's talking about different levels. There's 4 different levels. There's the conscious mind, which is, you know, what we're using now, you know, what we direct with our focus, our idea of self or whatever, how we talk. There's the subconscious, there's the inner being, or the higher conscious, or whatever, higher consciousness. And there's also, he calls it the ego, but it's really kind of the survival mechanisms, the survival ego. And he's saying that this this part of yourself doesn't like change. It's all about survival. It's saying to you that we've got this far doing what we're doing. Don't change it, you know, because we don't want it. Change is bad, basically. We don't want to mess things up, you know. We've survived so long. Just keep on doing what we're doing. And this is always, it's this part of the self that he calls the ego. This part of the self is what keeps us from moving, from changing. And, you know, we want to do something, and then we always, you know, come back. You know, you want to lose weight, but you know, you go on a diet and you come back, you know, maybe to more than you were before. You know, you want to get more money, but, you know, you keep on sabotaging all these great ideas you've got, and you come back to where you were. And so he has this, he describes it as being, the subconscious is super powerful. You know, there's nothing it can't do. Anything you know, you can't, anything you want, you can get it. But the other thing is the survival ego is also powerful, but not as powerful as this subconscious. And it's the conscious mind. Now, if the conscious mind tries to get to the subconscious, and it's doing something that's too big of a jump, you know, as Abraham Hicks says, you can't get there from here. If it's trying to do too much of a jump, this survival ego is going to get in the way and going to keep you coming back and keep you coming back and keep kind of self-sabotaging. And what you've got to do is somehow circumvent that and
sabotaging you. What is your next step? That all this is sabotaging you.
yeah. So the thing he's talking about is you can't go through this survival mechanism. You can't fight it. It's going to be a bit of a you know, a losing battle. So you've got to circumvent it. You know, you've got to move around it, and you've got to find some way to get the programming into the subconscious and let that program run. And then this survival mechanism is going to say, "Oh wow, well, we are getting results. I'll shift over to this new position," and that's how you can slowly, incrementally move over from one situation to the next. You know, and that's a lot of what Abraham Hicks is talking about. Is you've got to take these small steps. You can't do a big jump, because you just can't, in your belief system, you can't accept it. You can't say, I'm going to do this thing. You know, I'm going to be, you know, I'm going to go out and run a marathon tomorrow, or I'm going to, you know, make $1 million, you know, by next week or something like that, because you wouldn't believe you could. I mean, it might be possible to do that, but you know, I think your body would probably start to have some objections if you try to run a marathon with no training.
Esther, when Jerry was still in physical, she outrun Jerry when she tapped Abraham. I don't know how recent or past that was, but I do remember a fact that Esther saying to Abraham towards the effect of embarrass Jerry, and Abraham through Esther did. It may have only been like 100-yard dash, but I am going back on certain things I've heard.
Yeah. So, like I said, it's a very interesting idea that you got this this part of yourself. I mean, there are probably many parts of yourself, but this one part of yourself that you've got to be able to circumvent. You've got to be able to move around. And as I say, this guy Andrew Capp, he'd probably be willing to come on Abraham Fun here and do a talk, because I think he likes to promote his book, because it's a very recent book, only 2 years ago, I think it was. And he was on Lynn Girardi, if you know her, Lynn Girardi, and she does something like whatever her page is called. And he seemed quite friendly and willing to give his time. I would just wanted also, Karen, to ask you if I sent you some names during the week of people who might also want to come on, and have you had a chance to talk to them? I don't know.
Not the second. See, you sent me, the only ones I've seen were Lisa Richardson and then another gal. And Lisa
Bonnie.
Richardson, yes. So I have Lisa Richardson all set up for the first Friday or Saturday, you might say, in your case, in September. And so I haven't had a chance to contact the second woman yet, but that's all that I've seen. Maybe I haven't, maybe I'm not up to date with the ones you've seen.
Only two.
Okay, perfect. Well, I appreciate that, Brent, and we do have a lot of fun inviting folks. And along those same lines, I want to say that Karen Laurie, whom I and Jonathan and especially have really appreciated for her books and her insights, asked me just this past week to come on again. And we set up August 20th. And tying into what you're saying about this Andrew Capp, she, in her work and her coaching, feels that there's a part of the subconscious mind that needs to be, well, the subconscious mind needs to be reckoned with more than Abraham does. She has come to that conclusion. Craig, do you have any feelings about that? I mean, as far as the subconscious mind, in your rather unique experience, because
Wow.
Abraham doesn't give it a lot of credence.
What for some reason it came to me. It kind of goes with where I thought I was for a minute. Anyway, for some reason, what came out is I am not this set of. I am not this body. I am not this mind. Currently, I am this host with many guiding spirits. Which usually I don't get that last part. That's
You hold up a minute. Well, Craig, hold on just a second. Hey, Brent?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
The background noise behind you is just drowning Craig out.
Okay.
It's
Sorry.
It's coming
Yeah,
through very loud.
the kids are here. They're
Yeah, and I know you have one of those things like I had that's picks up everything out there.
Yeah. Okay. Look, I got to go anyway. I was just wondering if Natalia is still there. Is Natalia there or not?
In the kingdom.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. I was just going to read something. somebody posted on Abraham Fund recently about Australian language, and I'll read it and see if Natalia can understand it and see if everybody else can understand it. Okay, so somebody put up some Aussie slang and I wrote a little piece here using each word I could try and find. See if you can understand this. So yesterday, Arvo, I was at a Barbie when this bogan comes in with an esky, chockers with tinnies. I was stoked. Beauty cobber, let's hook in and get a skinful. But he spat the dummy and had a big sook because it was meant to be a prezi for his tradie mate from Whoop Whoop, who was bringing him some ripper togs. Fair dinkum. I could have pashed Mozzie.
Yeah, makes perfect sense.
Do we want to go English? Do we want to go English?
Yeah. So
anyway, one of those no idea what just, but it felt really good.
Well, you
got a buddy coming and he's bringing you something.
Yeah. So it's different. Just trying to. Natalia could probably understand that really, really quite easily, but other people probably maybe 50% or something. Just an explanation, an example of what it must be like to channel. For Esther Hicks, getting something from non-physical and translating it into words. And she's doing that all the time. So that's a pretty good, tech
You really
skill.
You really want me to go here?
Yeah, okay, so Jonathan's got one to share.
This bitch turned up with 6 tinnies and decided to crack and just chat about what was going on with life. She hit me with such much negativity, but I just hit her back with, I don't give a toss what you got to say. Just give me the can of Foster's. I'm going to enjoy it.
Give a toss. Like that. I don't give it.
I think the look on Brent's face is what? Where the hell did that come from?
We all have our slang, I guess. And I know I do. I got lots of slang. I love
Paul Hogan is a good friend of mine, so I am going to go off on there.
So you remember back in the day when they were trying to get the Ebonics? Nice to see you. The Ebonics, do you remember when they were trying to push that one? No. Here in Michigan, we get quite a selection. You get a lot of Southern people, so you have to figure out that drawl. It depends on how far down they are. You're like, oh, okay, you're from Kentucky.
Oh, yeah. I love those regional, in America, the regional different dialects. And I suppose, Natalia, then you would say, I guess around Australia, like you guys don't all really talk the same. Obviously, you probably have your regional dialects as well.
Yeah, so the things that Brent was saying, you'd find that a lot of people in more regional areas, like in the country, they would speak and use a lot of those words. Some of them are not that commonly used, but I know what they mean. But yes, there's a lot of people that they just cut a lot of words, and instead of saying, for example, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, they'll go Monday, Sunday, Saturday. It's like,
Monday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Different inflection.
Cobber, yeah, that's not used a lot. You say it more as a joke, really.
Mm-hmm.
Cobber, yeah.
You will have to forgive us.
But we use mate a lot. We use mate. We call people mate, and it's like, mate, what are you talking about?
And to us, it sounds like you sort of say might. It sounds like there's a lot of more of an I sound with a lot of the A's. And then I told Brent of this hilarious, to me, I'll never forget it, situation where a woman on Abraham Fund was interviewing an Australian woman, And she was asking about all of her interests. And this woman, one of her interests, she said, she goes, I love nature. I love nature. And
Nature.
and the woman interviewing her, who's from here in Florida, said, "Oh, no." She said more like, "I love Nietzsche, Nietzsche."
Oh, okay.
And the woman interviewing her said, oh, "You love the philosopher Nietzsche? That is so impressive." She said, "That is just really." She goes, "You are quite a scholar." And the woman goes, "No, I said Nietzsche." And she goes, "Yeah, Nietzsche, the philosopher." And it went back and forth. And I thought, I believe she's saying what we would say is nature. But it took a while. And finally, the woman here in Florida said, "Could you just spell what you're trying to say? Because I think you're talking about the philosopher Nietzsche." And she goes, Nature, Nietzsche. And finally, she goes, "Oh,
I just
nature."
love Nietzsche, the koalas, the kangaroos. I just love Nietzsche.
Exactly. It was so cute. It was just so sweet how all the English language, but just different pronunciation, slight differences, but same word. But I'll never forget that because the interviewer was just so impressed with this woman's scholarship. Because I mean, let's face it, who sits around and reads the German philosopher Nietzsche? Probably not a whole lot of people do.
You got to look at it once.
Yeah, I give it a cursory glance, but not too much.
So Karen, before we sign off, it's 10:30. It's getting kind of late. I'm having fun though. Usually I'm sleeping by now because I have tennis on Saturday morning, but I know Karen's having fun. Do you want to go on record as saying what you think about the subconscious in a comment about what you think what you and Abe say about the subconscious, by the way, before we let that go? I want the people here to get an idea of what Abe and Karen say about the subconscious. Go ahead, Karen. Please just don't anybody just lay it out there, Karen. Please.
Thank you, my dear. Well, yeah, I should probably finish that up because I started to say then that we're going to have sort of an exploration on August 20th about, does Abraham overlook something important when they don't give any real credence to the subconscious? Now, I believe that I believe with Abraham, I'm all with Abe, but I want to hear what this woman has to say because she does a lot of coaching and she has taken herself from a honestly horrible life of just being suicidal and having like so many physical ailments to a joyful, loving delight, just in love with life, just kind of like what you've done, Craig, with your journey. And she did that. And so anyway, I want to find out more, but Abraham basically—
I want to find out what you and Abraham say about the subconscious.
So Abraham says—
please just state that because
the subconscious
before I stop the recording.
The subconscious is not a big player at all in your vibration. Anything that's that you need to deal with will come up to you and you'll be aware of it because you will feel the feelings related to it and you will be able to adjust the conscious thought. And the subconscious, this is very unusual for a spiritual teacher really to say this, but they say it's just not a big player. Unless you're aware of it, it's not a big player in your vibration. And you don't even need to give a toss about it. You don't need to give any credence to it or be concerned about it in any way whatsoever. That's a very extreme position, I guess, vis-a-vis what a lot of people think. So, but my experience has kind of borne that out because when I was searching many years before I found Abraham, I used to get a lot of, I'd buy up subconscious tapes, subliminal tapes, a lot of those. And I really believe that there were tapes going on in my head that were sabotaging my happiness, and I couldn't possibly know what that was. So I would just have to listen to these subliminal tapes, and my subconscious mind would get the message, hopefully. And after many, many years of contemplating that from an Abrahamic perspective, and then also having had experiences that really never took me anywhere with it, I would have to say I totally concur with Abraham. And I told Karen Laurie that I admire her. She is just absolutely amazing. You guys, if you come when she's going to be here the 20th, you're going to love her. Jonathan loves her so much. And she's really, really interesting. And she's had an amazing life as an actress and a wife of a Hollywood mogul. I mean, the stuff she's lived is phenomenal. And so
baby, can I before I'm beginning before I do this, I want to lay into some folks' minds the idea something about that subconscious and vibration thing. Okay, Abe says that your vibration is what you're thinking that moment now. So your vibration is more fluid than we allow it to be sometimes in our mind. Okay. You can change your vibration quickly.
Yep.
If your vibration consists of 90 to 95% of whatever is going on in your subconscious that you're not even aware of, then it's a lot of work to change your vibration, right? Because you got to dig into that to get to your vibration. What Abe says, Abe describes your vibration as being much more fluid and current than that. Abe says, if you're ill and you think about not being ill, you're not ill for that moment, that you're not thinking about being ill. Isn't that, I mean, that's pretty powerful stuff. So I like the knowing that it's okay for me to change my vibration like that. I don't have to go searching into it. My subconscious, the past things that happened in my life that may have had an influence on my subconscious, this life or some previous life, all that stuff that people get hung up with. Okay, and if you all had, if we've listened to one thing about Craig, by the way, and Craig, I'm going to use you as an example. Craig is a guy that can laugh like that.
Yeah.
Craig can go into a happy place fast, and he's vibrating there. Okay, being happy is not a hard thing to do. Changing your vibration is not a long, drawn out process.
No.
So see, and when I'm listening to Karen Laurie, who you gotta love Karen Laurie. She's like a guru. She is a guru. Period. She's an amazing spiritual, amazing somebody to do this with, and you'll be. It's like you gotta honor and respect and whatever all those things that you don't even like to put on people. but so I'll be really interested in how she describes this subconscious vibration connection. Okay, where I think I personally, and I go with what's right or what's wrong doesn't mean it's what feels good to me, and what brings ease to me is what to me is my truth, and it feels really good that I can change my vibration without digging and delving anywhere into my subconscious. Does that make sense, Karen?
Yeah, and it does very much make sense. And I was going to say about that too is, I want to hear out, and I'll tell you what prompted this. By the way, Karen Laurie was on before when she wrote her last book, and we shared that, and it was just such an interesting time having her on this call. But what's prompted her to want to come back and kind of want to revisit and relook at what she knows from Abraham is that she has had a number of Aber friends diagnosed with cancer and or die. And she goes, I'm concerned. She says, I'm just concerned that that there's a missing piece, and that that people are not addressing this, and then they get sick, and they're ABERs. And why should ABERs get sick like this? She says, I don't understand it. She goes, I am concerned. And she says, she said her own life, she felt that she had to address past issues and traumas. And so anyway, I'll just set the stage with that. My belief is, and this is what I've observed with people, I would have to say, and I told this to Karen, people can be an ABER. You can listen, you can read every book, you can do it all, but unless you're doing the work every dang day of finding better feeling thoughts, you've just got to be consistent with it. You can't just give lip service to it and do a little of it. You can't. You've got to really be consistent. When I communicated that to myself and I got really, really consistent, that's when things started to change. It's not when I was sort of meditating here and there and I was sort of trying to change my thoughts a little bit, but sometimes it was just too hard. I didn't have that great success, but when I got really, really, really consistent, I don't think it's about we're missing what the subconscious is doing to sabotage us. I think we're aware of our thoughts and we just aren't doing enough to tweak them, because you got to be after it if you want your life to change. If you're happy with your life, you don't need to do any of that. I mean, if you're happy and joyful, you don't need to do this work at all. But if you really want something different, if you want things to change, you've really got to work with your thoughts consistently. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, at least until Karen convinces me opposite.
Never, ever get a guilt complex from skipping processes. You may, get so many processes in a day: meditation, appreciation, etc. But sometimes you may decide to skip on a process, find it is the best day for you ever. There are ones in this group who don't touch meditation on a daily process, as Abraham says, but still get a brilliant day.
Right.
And,
you don't have to be compulsive. Yeah, nobody's exactly. Good point, Jonathan. You don't have to be rigid, because that just comes from a point of being kind of worried about it. But you just say, I want a really good life, and I believe this is how I'll get it. And I'm just going to do a little here and a little there and a little there, and I'm going to laugh and I'm going to have fun and I'm going to be silly, and voila, that's what it's about, I think. But let's hear some. I mean, I'd love this to be an open forum. I'd love for people to share their ideas, and then we get to decide, is that something I need to incorporate into my perspective, or is it not? But anyway, we'll have some fun with it.
Well,
if it feels good, then yes. Go ahead, Craig.
You mentioned the subconscious, and it's like, well, that's kind of part of the message that I got, that I am not this set of emotion, or I'm not this set of experiences. Then that would be the subconscious, because we're aware of everything, whether we are aware of it or not. There's a lot of crap going in. And I am not this set of experiences. I am not this body. I'm not this mind. Currently, I am this soul with many guiding spirits. And then, of course, the rings forever. My daily actions determine my eventual outcome.
I've just heard Craig, and although we have done this regularly, ABC self-love, I think we should do it as a tennis game round. Craig, you are amazing.
Well, thank you.
Natalia, you know the game?
Nope.
Okay, we're thinking of words that describe Craig to us.
Well,
So, Natalia, do you know the game?
Yeah, joyous. There you go.
You've hit.
Oh, do we have to go
Hey,
through the alphabet?
yeah,
Okay.
through the alphabet. Now,
Oh.
now it's
Skip.
now
Okay,
now
so
you can add another A or just go to B, your
okay,
choice.
be bubbly.
Oh yeah,
Lovely.
that's perfect.
I'll say C. You are quite a character, and I mean that in a good way. You're a character.
Delightful. The way it's come across tonight, Craig, you are eccentric.
In a good way.
I've never, that's like I haven't never been called that one before. Only my whole life. I was always the absent-minded professor in school.
and proud of it, I guess.
Eventually, not at the time.
Fun. F is fun for sure.
Yeah.
Gregarious.
I was going to say that too, Natalia. That's yes, gregarious. Exactly. I love that.
Happy.
Immersive.
What did you say, Jonathan?
Immersive.
Immersive. Mm-hmm.
How come I keep getting these things like joyous and fun and happy? Joyous. Joy. That's what it's all about anyway. Abe says it's all about joy. That's why we're here. Joy.
Heck yeah.
Kindred is
Kindred.
joined autism.
Ooh.
I've got to do the L because this is the biggest L for Abraham. Love.
Mm.
Loving.
And light. You know, there's something light about you, Craig. It's really cool. That's just a word that can. It's
And lively.
and lively, yeah. Light and lively. Yeah.
Huh?
Magnificent.
Ooh.
Moorish. Mighty.
Mm-hmm.
It is such a hard word. I leave it to you.
And you know what? You know what it is? I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. Nice is just too calm for you. I mean, I'm sure you're nice, but nice just seems like too calm. A word. So it's got to be a more exciting, nice word. What is it?
I'm gonna hit Mark with that and hit a 1-up, which nebulous. But we are
Nebulous. Nebulous. Yeah.
Ooh.
Open comes to mind.
Open.
outstanding.
Playful, obviously.
I'm really liking playing this game.
Playful, yeah.
I don't have to do
You like
that.
That's good. I know. It's just a good game.
It's a Q word, Jonathan. Jonathan always takes the tough letters. Q.
Quirky.
Oh, yeah, there you
I'm quirky. I like that word.
I do too. I like it. I am that. It's a good thing.
Quality.
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 Radiant.
Ooh.
for sure. All right, girls, what do you got? You got an S word? Go ahead, do it.
If I have to put on a girly voice, stupendous.
Oh, come on, give him a sexy. Give him a sexy. Give him one.
There we go.
You know you were thinking it.
I think that was the answer you were looking for.
There's too many for the tea. I'm going to give it a lot for everybody else.
What?
We're doing tea.
Tea.
Tea. Triumphant.
Ooh.
Yeah, you're that. You're that.
Unique.
Terrifico.
Unique, for sure.
You is going to be not so hard for you.
No, we said unique, dear.
Okay, you did. Okay, how do you hear that?
So we're ready for B.
You may not think it is a big positive word, but I do think it is. Useful.
What?
Useful. Useful.
I thought we were on V. I was trying to figure out what that V word. I'm like, oh.
I've got too many V words.
Well, I think of vivacious. You're very vivacious. You know, you exude.
Well, he's
energy.
full of life, so I say virile. Oh, come on, don't make me play this game on my own. W.
Whimsical.
Oh, yeah. Excellent. Excellent. Yes, whimsical.
Wonderful. And this is where the game gets it, because Mark knows I know the NAX word, but I may cheat tonight.
Are we going to skip it?
No, Jonathan's got one.
Oh, I
Right.
see.
I'm going to do this one because it is the biggest X positive word I've found. Xenial. It means hospitable to foreigners. But I do occasionally cheat and say things like exemplary.
Take that.
Why?
Youthful. Very youthful.
I don't fancy you, I'm straight, you're me.
I didn't catch that one.
Oh my, don't.
You didn't want to hear that one.
Okay.
You're me.
Yeah, we hear what we're supposed to, don't we?
And we are now down for Z. We have got through the alphabet.
All right, Zen-like.
Oh, I love being Zenist. I like them people.
Thank you, Mark. New one. New one for me.
Successful.
That's
Zesty.
Ooh.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Good word.
Great from how the game is played in the zone.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's so very, very fun. And we had fun doing that with you, Craig. And we're really glad you joined us tonight.
I'm glad that Carolyn told me about you guys.
Yeah. I'm
I
delighted.
thought I might see her today, but you know, she's in the midst of moving and everything, so I don't think she's got a lot of time for group thingies.
Right. She's pretty busy. Yeah, this is Carolyn Mace, who
Yeah.
is there in Australia as well. But yeah, I'm glad she told you. Word gets around.
She's
pretty
great,
nice.
yeah. We chit chat occasionally. Well, pretty frequently.
Nice, very nice.
Just interrupt for a second, Karen. Craig, that little ABC game comes from my second mentor after Abraham Hicks, Karen Laurie. And it is a case of, on a daily basis, I will go through the alphabet and from A to Z, look at a positive for me. And I do not care if people see that positive in me, as long as through the eyes of source, I see that positive in me, that is a good thing. You know, and it doesn't care. You could go on the blooming internet. I can't think of a B word that is positive for me. And so you go onto the internet and you think of positive B words and you think, yes, I see myself in that.
Mm.
Yeah, and I will go from it. Forgive me, Karen. Karen Laurie, from her book, Chronic Pleasure, this is one process I got. You know, just think of going through the alphabet, a positive word from every letter you can find. And yes, you may have to cheat when you get to X. Exemplary, extrovert, extraordinary. I will leave it at that.
X-rated. No, wait.
Some days.
Oh, I should have.
Drop off the
I should have.
telepathy.
I should have stopped Facebook Live before I said that.
Hey,